I'm going to just read a little bit about my very good friend, Robin Robbins, who I've known for a long time. She is the person, actually, that basically prompted me to start my 25K group. She was the very first person that joined, and that's a whole nother story. I'm not going to take up her time with that. I'll tell you maybe later, tomorrow or something. Robin Robbins is an independent marketing consultant, sales trainer, and author that specializes in inexpensively and highly effective marketing strategies for IT firms. She's a world-class speaker, author, and coach. Robin has developed marketing strategies for over 4,500 businesses in 14 different industries across North America, Australia, and Europe. This includes both online and offline marketing strategies. The vast experience has given Robin a broad knowledge of hundreds of marketing and sales tactics used by some of the most successful and sales-driven organizations in the world. She is really awesome, but before she comes on, we're gonna actually show a video. And so watch this, and this is, see, first off, this alone just shows that Robin is smart. This is a video, an intro video. This is a marketing technique. So let's play that video.
There are so many models for success out there that you're a fool to try and reinvent a new one. Take something that's working, modify it for your purposes, and use it.
Robin was really the answer to my problem. We're a different company now after meeting Robin.
She's giving me more tools and also the enthusiasm and belief that I can get it done.
Robin, I just need to tell you how much you inspire me.
Her material works, her material is proven, and she's a really exciting person to work with.
And I'm here to tell you, price is not the ultimate reason people will hire you. A customer won on price will be lost on price. Sell what you're great at.
Robin is the catalyst to the change for all of our businesses.
I was inundated with the information that was there and the resources, and she really spoke to my point of view and the challenges that we had been facing.
Having a marketing plan in place is important, and I think Robin's the de facto guru in this area in our industry.
Today we're going to talk about how to build the ultimate sales letter. A campaign so compelling, so powerful, so persuasive that it causes your ideal prospect to step forth out of the masses and instills in them a burning desire to hire you and buy your services. And in the process, pre-qualifies them, pre-sells them, handles their objections, and implants in their brain that you, my friends, are the person, the company to solve their problems regardless of price. How does that sound?
Best business decision I've made to date, probably be the best I ever made.
Robin Robbins and her staff and this whole organization is for real.
It doesn't matter what my question is, you or your team have a resource or an answer for me.
Robin and Technology Marketing Toolkit has really transformed and benefited our business.
We went from basically a non-existent MSP company to about a $3 million company, and we are growing.
I closed my first $68,000 deal completely remotely without ever meeting the person in person.
Robin taught me three major concepts. She taught me this concept of monthly recurring revenue. Now maybe all you guys have this down, but I never heard of it before. Then she taught me how to be the expert, and she truly taught me how to do marketing.
So I started this year knowing that I already had scheduled over $650,000 of revenue. That's insane.
Yeah, there's nothing better than getting up on January 1st in the morning and saying, wow, I've already got my year covered.
It's a world that I didn't know existed till I met Robin.
I knew I always had the will, and I felt like somebody just showed me the way.
We've been with Robin since 2003, 2004. And as you can see, we're taking care of 22 families, and that's our earnings right now.
And during 2010, we actually added $134,000 in new annual recurring revenue. I don't know where I would have been had I not found Robin and her group.
Our monthly recurring revenue up over 90%. We went from being negative to positive.
In the last couple of years since we've been Robin Robbins members, we've been able to sign more than $500,000 in managed service contracts.
I'm glad that there's somebody like Robin out there that can help companies like us take our marketing to the next level.
I'm like so completely stoked that she flew out here to speak. She is a strategist, she's brilliant, she's ethical, her stuff works, and she's one of the best marketers and business people that I know, and she's so much smarter than me in so many areas. So give it up for Robin Robbins.
Thank you, Joe. All right. I know it's the end of the day. I don't know about the rest of you. I am highly caffeinated and unsupervised, so let's get going. I'm going to talk about intentional congruency. And this is a little bit of a different type of topic than you've been hearing so far. It'll align with everything that Joe and Dean, everybody has been sharing with you, but it's a little bit different take on this. I learned it from a man named Nito Cobain. He's president of High Point University. Is anyone familiar with Nito Cobain? Yes, he is one of the most phenomenal entrepreneurs and marketers and speakers that I've ever met in my life. And he taught me this concept. And basically the concept is when we think about marketing, we start doing it usually in reaction to something. Reaction to something negative, meaning sales are down, or we need extra cash for something, or a new competitor crops up, or something happens in the market where it's fluctuating. And so we figure we got to start doing marketing. And what most people do is they make the mistake of just grabbing these random tactics and tricks and doing these things and trying to build more customers. And that's better than doing nothing. But what I want to submit to all of you to think about, instead of doing just random acts of marketing, to think about the congruency, the image, the brand, the presence that you want to give to your customers, and not just think about marketing as how do we get these people into the door to start talking to us, but all the way through their experience, the before, during, and after units, so that we can really impress upon these people and deliver an amazing service so they're raving fan customers. Let me ask you, how many of you in here are in a service business? You're selling an actual service. Okay? How many of you are selling products, tangible product? Okay. Now, let me ask you another question, and there's no wrong answer to this. I'm not setting you up. How many of you position yourself or want to position yourself as the de facto guru, the high end, the Trump, if you will, of your industry? Like, in other words, you're trying to sell very high-end products. Let me see keep your hands up, okay? Just out of curiosity, how many of you are going more of the Walmart approach? And there's nothing wrong with that. Walmart makes a lot of money. How many of you are going sort of that genre? So I can see that and this is not a statement. If that's your market and that's what you're going after and you have a strategy for it, you're smart. At least you know what your market is. But it looked like most of you are trying to be the top expert in your field. You want to charge premium prices, am I correct? And to charge premium prices, you have to be what? The best at what you do, right? Especially in today's market with competition the way it is, people want to buy the best. There's three things that people actually will pay a lot of money for, and you might want to jot this down. First one is convenience. The second one is competence or an experience. That's what people will pay a lot of money for. They will pay for convenience, they will pay for competence, or they will pay for an experience. So I want to start out with this talk to teach you about this intentional congruency. And what I want to tell you is a story about half-eaten Cheetos and dirty tissues. Now, about 2 years ago, I had a wonderful, beautiful little redheaded baby girl. Her name is Jamie. And when we had Jamie, I have 2 dogs, and I suddenly realized that the BMW X5 that I drive was not big enough to hold all the stuff that you have to take around with you with an infant. If any of you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. So we decided we needed to have the biggest SUV we could possibly find. And so the biggest one we could find was a Cadillac Escalade, with the extended cab. And so, but we decided since this was going to be a baby and dog moving vehicle, we didn't need a brand spanking new one. We wanted one that was just gently used, if you will. So we went out shopping for new cars. And we looked online, as many of you would, and we went to the first dealer that we went to another one. And there was another dealer that was in the neighborhood. We knew that they had this vehicle on the lot, but they really didn't have good pictures, but they were close by, so we stopped by. Now, this is in November, so it's freezing cold out. We get out of the car, we go up to the sales area, and they say, well, if you want those vehicles, they're back on the lot. You got to drive back there. So we get back in the car. We drive over to the end of the lot, and a sales guy comes out to greet us. Now, the sales guy, as he's approaching, I smelled him before I heard him. He's a smoker. Now, I'm not against smoking. If that's what you want to do, God bless. I have no, but as a non-smoker, when you smell a dirty ashtray coming to you, there's a tendency to want to back up. So that was kind of strike number one. We told him what we were looking for. He said, no problem, let me go get the keys. Left us standing out in the freezing cold. We're out there shivering for a good 10 minutes. When he finally comes out, he's got the keys to the vehicle and everything. He says, all right, here it is. He walks us over to the vehicle. First thing I noticed, the vehicle was dirty on the outside. I'm like, okay. It's a little snowy, but it's still second mark against him. We get into the vehicle, and instantly I don't want to buy this. There's dirty carpets. There's a broken handle on it. This is not the car I'm looking for. But my husband wanted to test drive it, so I sit in the back, and as I'm sitting there, he hands me the Carfax report, which was good. But he then proceeds to tell us that the vehicle really isn't, the price really shouldn't be what it is. It should be marked lower, and he's admitting this. And I'm thinking, why are you telling me this as your salesperson? And then as my husband starts the vehicle up, I look over, and next to me in the window was a used tissue with a half-eaten Cheeto in it. And yeah, exactly. And so instantly, I don't want to buy this vehicle. Now, just to give you a condensed story, the place that we actually bought the vehicle from was 150 miles away from where we live. So we actually had to drive quite a way to get there. But the company that we bought for, we searched online. We found out that they had very clear pictures of the vehicle online. They were very fast, so when we went to the website, it wasn't grinding, slow, and difficult to get through picture to picture. They had a video. They had rave reviews on Google. Everybody who had bought from them, they were giving them thumbs up and 5 stars and all the rest of it. We drove down there. The person who sold us the vehicle showed up, and he had a clean-pressed logo shirt. He didn't smell of anything, which was nice. He shows us the vehicle. It is in pristine condition. It has a brand new shiny wax. There's paper on the floor to cover the carpets. The car didn't smell of anything either, which was another plus. Of course, we bought the vehicle from that dealer. So the point I'm trying to make here is marketing is not a department in your company. I'm sure that dealership that we went to the first time, and I know this, they're out there advertising every week in the newspaper, they're advertising on the radio, and they're trying to get customers in. And they're probably blaming the economy and saying that, people are just looking for the cheapest price online and they don't want to deal with this, and that's why we can't sell cars, and there's so much competition and all the rest of those things. But here's what I want to tell you guys. Starbucks knows that having intelligent employees who actually know how to take complex drink orders and fulfill them quickly is marketing. When I stay at the Ritz-Carlton, and the fact that they know me, and when I get there, they know my preferences of what newspapers I like and what drinks I like. The fact that they do that, they understand that that's marketing. They know that the cleaning people that I run into in the hallways, that's marketing. Disney knows that the cleanliness of their parks is marketing. Does anyone here have a Publix? Has anyone ever? If you go into a Publix, you are going to go in a whole different experience in a supermarket. They're clean, they're friendly, it is amazing. They understand that they can have all the flyers in the world, but if I go into that store and it's dirty, they don't have what I want, the staff is rude, that's a big black mark. I might not come back there. So marketing is not a department. Does anyone know what this is that I'm showing up here? What is it? Particle board. Does anyone know what particle board is? It's all the crap left over on the sawmill floor that you would typically throw away. But one day somebody said, you know what? If we scooped all this stuff together and we glued it together with some cheap resin and we put that thin stuff on, what's the thin stuff on top called? A veneer. What is a veneer? It is an extremely thin layer of real wood to try and give you the appearance that this cheap particle board actually is real wood, but people know that you're not, okay? And that's what I think a lot of people in business, they have this marketing that they're putting out there because they're copying somebody's opt-in box, or they're copying somebody's autoresponder, or they're copying somebody else's headline. And their business is not delivering on those promises. And to me, those people, I call them particle board. Okay? Now, how many of you think you really truly have a USP, a unique selling proposition, something that would cause a prospect to buy from you over everybody else? Truly, truly. See, and that's okay to admit, because the reality is not many people do, because there's no differentiation in what you do. The differentiation is in how you do it. And I do marketing for a lot of different kinds of companies. And one of the things I see consistently hand in hand is when somebody is struggling to get more customers, almost always their service is flawed. They have half-eaten Cheetos and dirty tissues all throughout their office. And there's a technical military saying that sums this up perfectly. I'm going to share it with all of you. This is something I actually learned from my husband. I met him when I was in Nashville. He's stationed at Fort Campbell. He was a soldier there. There's only so much you can do to polish a turd. And that's the truth, my folks. All right? Now, I know you're sitting there thinking, well, you're calling us particle board. You're calling us turds. This is just awful. Aren't you a speaker? You're supposed to be building rapport with the audience? Not really, because I'm not selling anything, so I don't really give a crap if you like me or not. And but there's only so much you can do to polish a turd. And really, there's a lot in that saying. When I do marketing consulting with clients, if I have difficulty in writing the ad, the product is flawed. Think about that. If you have difficulty in writing the ad, there's something wrong with the product or the service. It needs improvement. So, what's really the problem here? How many of you, well, you know it, it's Rudy Giuliani. How many of you know Rudy Giuliani, are familiar with Rudy Giuliani? Yep. Okay. What do you know about Rudy? What's some things that he's famous for? Cleaned up New York City. What do you mean cleaned up?
Reduce crime.
You got it. He reduced crime. Now, what's really interesting, when Rudy took office, New York City was averaging about 5 murders a day, 10,000 felonies a week. Between the years 1998 and 90, they estimate that about 1 million taxpayers fled the city. Crime was so bad that people were putting signs in their car that said, "Don't bother, radio already stolen." Okay, really, this was genuinely happening. And because of these 1 million taxpayers leaving the city, the criminals weren't leaving. Those tax-paying citizens were taking their tax dollars with them, and it was making the problem even worse. And what was happening was that these small, petty crimes that were happening, like turnstile jumpers or graffiti, people were spraying graffiti, were being basically free to run. So if you stole a radio, you would hardly even get noticed by the police because they were so busy dealing with homicides and rapes and other more serious crimes. So Rudy decided he was going to implement a zero-tolerance policy. In other words, they were going to treat these small, petty crimes with as much force and with as much attention as they were going to address murders. So at first, it was ridiculed. Now, this is based on a theory called a broken windows theory. And the broken windows theory, it was first introduced as a theory by 2 criminologists, James Wilson and George Kelling. And the concept was based on studies they had done in areas that were very crime-ridden. And one of the things they discovered is that if a building had a broken window in it, and if it was left unrepaired, within a very short period of time, more windows would be broken, and graffiti would then start happening in the building. Before you knew it, it was in complete disrepair. Because that broken window, left unrepaired, basically sent a message to everybody that nobody's home and nobody cares. Right? Now, it was largely ridiculed until Rudy put this in place, and the success was phenomenal. He actually, after he implemented, crime fell by 57%, and murders dropped to an all-time record low in the city of New York. So the question I have for all of you, where are the broken windows, meaning the half-eaten Cheetos and dirty tissues, in your business? Right? Where are they? And let me tell you, folks, they're there. They're there. So, to kind of give you an idea of how does this all fit into marketing, there's really actually 2 ways. It's not only just getting more customers, but it's also about keeping the customers you have, getting them to refer, getting them to come back. Now, if I were to diagram sort of somebody's decision to buy something, this is what I would use. And I use the term threshold. We typically don't make a change in the vendor we're using or what we do until we hit threshold. So if you're selling a weight loss product, your customers might be the people where the moment they hit threshold is they try and squeeze into those jeans and they just can't get them buttoned anymore. That to them might be their threshold moment. Now, in the IT industry that I work, the threshold moment is often when the business owner is just fed up. There's been so many technical problems, they say, that's it, that's enough, I'm going to go find somebody else. Here's the other thing you have to realize. For most of you, not all of you, but for most of you, you've got to understand most marketing, most sales training kind of goes like this. Me seller, you buyer, right? There's just the 2 of us. I'm here to tell you there's more than that in this equation. There's also the incumbent. All right, and if anyone wants some really good information on this, Randy Schwantz is a friend of mine. I do a lot of work with him from the Wedge, has great concepts on this. But essentially, you've got you, seller, them buyer, you've got the incumbent, okay? And if we were describing how somebody makes a decision, utopia is that line there at the bottom where they're completely satisfied and thrilled with whatever they have, whatever their situation is, whatever their vendor they're using, whatever fitness coach they're going with, whatever marketing coach that they're in. If they're in utopia, they're a raving fan client, they're there at the bottom. You can't sell those people anything because they're completely happy with where they are. Right? We all understand that, right? That was your part to, yes? Yeah. Give me some feedback. All right, good. So I know it's the end of the day. Threshold is where you say that's it, you're fired, or that's where somebody makes a decision to buy. So let me give you a little story about something that happened in my life to demonstrate how this buying process works. Because most of us as marketers think people go from utopia to right to threshold. It doesn't work that way. So again, I'll tell you a story about I hired a landscaper. He was somebody referred him to me. He was a friend of a friend. And when we first hired him, I was completely thrilled. He was doing a great job. He was mowing the grass. He was mulching. He was pulling the weeds. He was showing up on time. Everything you could hope for in a great landscaper. Then summertime kind of creeps around, and we have a little mini dog pool in the back. And yes, I know it's very pathetic that we've got a dog pool for our little 2 Jack Russells, but we have a dog pool. And so the problem was when he was cutting the grass, he'd go along with this blower. He would blow all the clippings into the dog pool. And what was really annoying is I have to dump the pool out and I have to refill it up or I'd have to skim it off. So what happens is I get a little unhappy. Now, I'm not unhappy enough to fire him yet, but I'm a little upset because it's happening. So I say something. He apologizes profusely. We'll make it right the next time. They make sure it was all cleaned out, no problems. So I go back down to being a little bit happier because they make it right, okay? Then the next problem that cropped up was he was supposed to show up on Tuesdays. Well, he didn't show up on Tuesday. He started showing up on like Wednesday. And then the next week, instead of showing up on Tuesday, he shows up on Thursday. And then the next week after that, and it started to get kind of sporadic, so I'm getting annoyed now. And now the reason for me is I work from home. I've got a big, huge bay window in front of my desk. I have an office where I have employees, but I work from home. And so the bay window, when they're out there landscaping, I'm doing teleseminars or conference calls with clients. It's noisy, so I know when he's supposed to be there, and we schedule it. So when he doesn't show up, it's really annoying. And I say something to him, and he says, okay, we'll do better. We promise to do better. I think he bought me some candy or, something to try and make it right, okay? So I get a little bit happy, but you see how I'm starting to move up the threat. I'm getting more and more annoyed. The next thing that happens is he doesn't show up at all. And a week goes by, the grass is up to here, my husband has to go out and cut it, and which really kind of annoys me. And so now I'm getting closer to threshold. And we call, he doesn't return the call. He doesn't tell us what's going on. And it's, so now I'm getting really upset. So there has been no satisfaction. Now but we're all busy, right? So I'm not out there. I don't have time to go find another landscaper. I'm just getting kind of more and more annoyed. Then the incident happened. And the incident for me, where I crossed threshold, was one day, and he knows better than to leave the gates open, but one day he left the gates open. And I opened the back gate. We've got a big high deck off the back, and I let the dogs out, and I promptly see one of them run around the corner and start booking down the street, heading right for a car. He almost got hit by a car. I was 7 months pregnant at the time. And so I am running down the street in the summertime, 7 months pregnant, freaking out. And that's when I said, that's it, you're fired. Okay? So was it that incident that made me No, it was all these tiny broken windows in the service, in the delivery of that person. And guess who gets my business? The guy who happened to leave the crappy postcard on the mailbox with the rock in it. You know how they all do, right? Because he was the one that just happened to shop, and he probably thinks he has the most brilliant marketing that has ever happened. But the reality is he just happened to be in the right place at the right time, all right? So most clients, if you ask me, I think most people are in this, let me go back. That's going to take a little bit. But most people are in this sort of zone here of where they're in a zone of mild dissatisfaction. I know that doesn't show up, but there's sort of a grayed area in there. So most clients, they're not totally happy with the vendor they have, but because they're busy and they don't know who else they can trust because they assume everybody's as bad as the guy they have, they don't do anything. So what are we to take from this? First of all, assume your service sucks. It's a safer assumption, okay? You can always go up from there. Second of all, find the broken windows in your business and fix them immediately. If I asked you as an audience, what's right now, right off the top of your head, what's the number one irritant your customers have in doing business with you? And I want to see a show of hands. How many of you know what that is? Okay, those of you who don't raise your hand, you're worse off than those who know because they're there and you're unaware of them. Okay, there are irritants. There are things that are going on in your business that irritate the hell out of your clients of doing business with you. I'll give you an example. Seemingly tiny, insignificant things. I'm a marketing consultant. We have tons of marketing campaigns for our clients. We teach them everything online, offline, to seminars, you name it, radio ads. And one of the complaints that our clients actually gave us, which is sort of crazy if you think about it, is they're overwhelmed with the number of things. They can't find materials. And that's because how many of you have bought information products from someone? They got this website to log in to get this product, and this website to log in and get this product, and this website to log in and get this product. Before you know it, you got different passwords for each one. You don't know which products you have. You really can't search the site for anything specific. Has anyone experienced that with, okay? Is it a little irritating? Okay, that was the number one complaint we have. We built then, because we knew that that was a barrier to success, we knew that that was a problem for our clients, we spent $500,000 creating what we call our marketing dashboard, which is a complete online searchable database, one login, one place. They can find marketing campaigns, they can find systems, they can find training, and it's all done on a very highly detailed search box where they can type in anything and it comes up. Okay, but that's because we knew that was an irritant for our customers. And it's kind of a crazy thing because we're trying to give them so much value and give them so many marketing campaigns, it actually turned into a negative, which we then had to fix. So you've got to know what the broken windows are in your business. Then number 3, design your marketing to not only highlight the broken windows in your competitor's business, because once you identify what's irritating to doing business with people in the carpet cleaning industry, or what's irritating about dealing with realtors, or what's irritating about dealing with a marketing consultant or a fitness guru, or whatever whatever you deliver, you want to stir that up in your prospects. So let me show you one of the most powerful marketing campaigns I've ever given my clients. And this really is, for my customers anyway, might not, I mean, obviously it's not going to work for many of you, but it is the best money-getting sales letter of all time. Now, we call it the bad date letter. And my clients have called it that because the headline says, is your computer support guy treating you like a bad date, okay? And so it's actually not called that. It's called a 3-step letter for prospecting. But this letter has literally sold millions of dollars in IT services. Now, the reason I want to share it with you is because kind of goes into this broken windows concept. I know from doing hours upon hours of research with business owners, buyers of IT services, I know why they fire their current IT guy and look for somebody else, okay? So let me read the opening of this letter a little bit just to give you an idea of how we're using these broken windows that we see in most of our competitors' business to drive people up towards threshold, okay? So is your computer support guy treating you like a bad date, not returning your calls fast enough, constantly missing deadlines, not fixing things right the first time, never following up on your requests? I want to give you 2 free hours of support to prove we can do a better job than your current computer guy. By the way, how many of you actually do outsource your IT support? Do I have, okay. So did that kind of resonate a little bit with you? Okay, let me read on. It just amazes me how unreliable and arrogant some computer technicians are. When you call them for help, you end up talking their voicemail. When they finally get them on the phone, they make you wait hours, even days, before they actually come out and see you. Even then, a lot of them take longer than they estimated, charge you more than expected, and as a final insult, don't follow up with you to ensure you are satisfied. Enough is enough. I think it's about time someone finally got it right. That's why I've decided to start a one-company revolution and commit ourselves to delivering fast, affordable computer support from professional and reliable technicians. And although I don't think this is an amazing concept, it still surprises me how many computer technicians don't get it right. That's why I'd like to extend the following offer, and the letter goes on. And the reason this letter works so well, it might not work for weight loss or selling blinds or selling whatever it is that you're selling, but it works well because this speaks to the customer that we are trying to speak to. Now, we also have it's a 4-page letter, it goes on. Another segment in this letter that really boosted response. And this is a takeaway that all of you can do. We basically included a 2-page document in the letter that says, how does your current computer guy stack up? Take this quiz and find out. How can you tell if you're receiving poor or substandard service? How do you know if your computer guy is doing everything possible to secure your network from downtime, viruses, data loss, other frustrating and expensive disasters? Could your current technician actually be jeopardizing your network? If your technician doesn't score a yes on every point, you could be paying for substandard support. Now, here's a key point. Most people don't know what good service is. They really don't. They are so used to getting piss poor service everywhere they go, they assume everybody does the same. All right, I don't know how many cell services. My cell phone can take pictures, I can do movies on my cell phone. I still can't make a phone call that doesn't sound garbled or broken. All right? So when a cell phone company comes to me and tells me they're going to be the most clear, I don't buy it anymore. I know that's just kind of a condition I've gotten used to. I just assume that they're all the same. Most of your buyers might not know where they're being underserved. All right, so once you've identified these broken windows, do this. I mean, we have literally had, when my clients go on sales appointments, it's very common for the prospect to have the list out and they have checked it off. In fact, I had one client come to me and said, Robin, my God, that letter was amazing. We mailed it out. I got calls instantly. I go on this appointment and I sit in front of the guy and I realize he's got this checklist in front of him. Then I realized I hadn't read the sales letter. So I started to sweat. They trust me. They just send out my marketing and say, I know it works. I don't know what it says. I don't know, send it out, which I don't recommend, but they do it anyway. They also don't take my picture off sometimes, which is really bizarre. I put my picture in there as a placeholder, but I digress. Anyway, so that's how you manufacture dissatisfaction. You've got to plant a question in the prospect's mind about where they're being underserved, because if they have an incumbent provider right now, they might not know where they're being underserved. Okay? A few random thoughts and tips I want to leave you guys with. Number one, fulfilling on your marketing promise is not enough. It is the minimum to doing business. When I go to a restaurant, I expect the food to be good. When I deal with a realtor, I expect them to be professional and find me the best deal. I expect that. When I go to a hair salon, I expect good service. Those are just minimums. You don't score any points for that. Okay? So the question is, do the majority of your clients rave about what you deliver? I mean, rave. Are they advocates for you? If they are not, then you might need to improve the service. They might be just satisfied. You've seen Joe do the satisfied, happy customer face. All right? Number two, you have to be obsessed with details. Details. Doing an event like this, we do an event like this every year. Last year we had 500 people there. I run that event with my staff. I have a staff of 6 people. All right? That is a massive undertaking. The amount of detail that we have to pay attention to is incredible. But I know if people come into the room and it's a little too cold, that's a broken window. If people come in the room and the video doesn't play right or the audio's too loud, that's a broken window. If somebody goes to a registration table or needs help and my staff is not there quick with answers, that's a broken window. So working for me is a bitch, let me tell you, because I am like all over it. All right? So you've got to actually make sure that every single detail in your business matters. I've gone into hotels where I travel a lot. We do big events. So hotels, when I travel, typically there's gifts that show up in my room. But I can't tell you how many hotels I've walked into where I walk in and instantly the room kind of smells funny. You know what I'm saying. It's got that smell. And the paint's dinged up and the furniture's kind of worn out and the phone looks scuzzy, like to the point where you want to use a tissue to pick it up if you have to use it. But they've given me brownies. Now, see, they think they've done something extra. I say they don't. I think they need to clean the phone, get rid of the stink in the room, and then if they want to give me brownies, boy, I'll be impressed. But get the basics right first. Number 3, you can't talk yourself out of a label or an image that you've acted your way into. You can't tell me that you are the most professional person in the world if you walk around and you're dressed kind of like sloppy and casual. It doesn't translate. I'm talking about congruency. You can't say we're the most professional, competent firm and you don't know how to answer the phone correctly, okay? Or you don't follow through on your promises, or you don't explain things in contracts, or whatever it is, these tiny broken windows. You can't say you're the best unless you perform with excellence. And you've got to have it all the way through everything you do. From the office, when they come into your office, are they smelling other people's lunch? Is the trash can sitting out overflowing? you're trying to promote that you're excellent and they come in your office and they see those things, I instantly see those things. So do your prospects. This is the funniest guarantee in the world. Is anyone here a Comcast customer? Has anyone seen that Comcast? Our goal is to provide you with consistent, superior customer service. What do you guys think of that? Right, I could tell you a story about Comcast where I tried just to simply spend more money with them and upgrade my service. I don't have time to get into the details of the story, but it took me somewhere around 5 to 6 phone calls and all the time getting hung up on, going through voicemail hell, getting told I can't help you, that's another number, I'll transfer you, they hang up again, not returning calls. It's a disaster. Fortunately, or unfortunately, Comcast is the only game in town, so I have to use them. But again, most of us don't have that luxury. I know I don't have that luxury. There are a lot of other smart marketing consultants out there. I better be on my game when a customer calls. I better follow through because there's 10 other people that are every bit as good that are willing to take those clients away from me to service those clients. Number 4, negative, uncooperative, and untrained employees are the worst broken windows. How many of you saw this on Facebook or saw this on the news? This was an actual photo that was taken in a Burger King in Ohio, where one of the employees thought it would be funny to do this. But this moron forgot to not post. He posted anonymously, but forgot to kind of leave the location off. And immediately, the phone started ringing off the hook. The media caught it and so forth. Now, this one employee, I look at this in 2 ways. As a business owner, I know how difficult it can be to hire employees. It's really difficult. Find good people you can trust. But at the same time, this is unexcusable. If you hired somebody like this, and it tells me, number 1, you're not hiring the right people. Number 2, it tells me they're completely and utterly unsupervised. Okay? Do you ever want to eat at this Burger King again? Do you want to eat at any Burger King again? Right, exactly. Because this impression is going to last. Number 5, with social media, this kind of ties in. Cameras, phones, and the internet, you cannot hide your mediocrity anymore. Because customers will talk. And they will post those kinds of photos up. They will say negative things. And unfortunately, people believe the negative before they're going to believe the positive headlines and testimonials you have all over your site. Let me give you, this is a comment that we are now getting a lot from new customers that are coming to us. The actual comments. I searched online to see if I could find anything bad about you guys and couldn't. That tells me you must be doing something right. Now, that kind of surprised me when I started seeing that come in. It also made me alert that, hey, I better watch my online reputation because people start looking to see what other people are saying. And if they find one negative comment, they already have a question. They find 5 or 6. And taking those negative comments off the internet, that's like trying to take pee out of a pool. Lots of luck, It ain't going to happen. So you got to make sure that they don't happen in the first place, which leads to number 6. The best way to fix a broken window is to prevent it in the first place. Once it's broken, an impression is made. Everybody in Ohio, when it came out, I don't know the exact city, I forget it now, but the exact city how many people do you think are actually still going to that Burger King? That dealer I talked about originally, I will never step foot back into that dealer, ever. I have no reason to go there. They've already made an impression in my mind. I'm not giving them a second chance. How many of you have gone to a restaurant where you've had bad service or a hotel where you haven't, and how many are going to go give them a second chance? You're not, because why? There's so many other choices out there. We're not living in a society where there's only one of something. Comcast, like I said, has right now in my area, they're fortunate. There will be a competitor. Someone will come and eat their lunch because that's why they're promoting their service guarantee. They're trying to talk their way out of something they've acted themselves into. And nobody's buying it because we all know what the service is like. Number 7, if you want to know where to start, work on removing all the irritants of doing business with you. And as I said earlier, if you don't know what the number 1 most irritating complaint is that your clients have to do business with you, you're in worse trouble than people who know what it is. Because at least if you know what it is, you can fix it. So get a handle on that right away. Now, I've got an exercise. Did we have it hand? You want to hand that out, Eunice? I think you've got. I don't know if we really want to go through it because of time. We're a little bit on a time crunch today, folks. So I don't want to go through this exercise. I can kind of explain what it is. It's an exercise I take my clients through because they are in the service business, IT services. And one thing I do know about computer support and services is that people that they're dealing with are in a really kind of pissed off, frustrated mood, right? If you want an example, go next time you're in Word or you're in a PowerPoint, look up your clip, go to your little clip art search and type in the word frustration, and you'll see that computer devices come up, right? Because people get really frustrated. So when my clients go and they service their customers, they have to really be on the service part. Every single touch point has to be analyzed and examined, not just the marketing response. And by the way, the marketing response is like the first interaction doing business with you. One of the things I teach my clients in the marketing process should be a taste of what it's like to work with you. Let me say that again. The marketing process should be representative of what it's like to work with you. All right? Total, complete congruency from the time you interact with them all the way through the sales process, and then, of course, in how you handle their services. So I'll walk you through this exercise. I'll let you do this on your own. The first thing I always tell my clients to get in touch with what's your mission. And the little example I have there is to make technology a blessing rather than a burden for businesses, okay? So that's just an example. First thing I'd recommend is you figure out what is your mission? What is your purpose? What do you do? Why are you doing what you're doing? And then what are your core values as an organization? Again, if you stand for excellence, if you stand for commitment, if you stand for improvement, whatever it is, then you've got to make sure that those are your core values. So another example, to put our full effort behind developing loyal raving fan clients, lead by example, no whining or excuses, everyone sells, everyone's an entrepreneur, we work fast, we work hard, we always strive for excellence, always, always, always cheerfully do more or give more than is asked or expected of you. That's the values we have in my company. So B players don't even survive. They don't even survive because we live in this culture. Next thing I would recommend you do, what are we promising or guaranteeing to our customers? So you want to outline that. Now, the next part of the document, common touch points you have with customers. Now, this is for my clients and they're in the IT services, so there might be things here that are not necessarily relevant to you. But I would recommend that you look at inbound calls, your website, the public, if you have a member portal, online search, social media. Here's something that kind of was disappointing for me when I started doing social media and we incorporated it into marketing. Customers write questions to you on that stuff. And if you don't check, I started realizing I didn't even know, I remember when I first signed up for Facebook, I didn't even know there was this messaging. And someone's like, hey, you got 52 messages up here. I'm like, really? I didn't even know. And these are customers writing to me. So you've got to watch all these different touch points because somebody writes to me on Facebook and sends a heartfelt message or asks me a question and I don't respond, broken window. Broken window. No excuses. Requesting support. Here's another one. Here's a big thing. Reporting a complaint. When somebody, a customer, reports a complaint, how is that handled in your organization? Do you have a documented process for it? We have a documented process for how do we handle unhappy clients. And we train it, we reinforce it, we go over it multiple times because that's where a lot of broken windows can happen. Now, I don't want complaints. In fact, when we do our boot camp, my goal at every boot camp that we do with 500 people is 0 complaints. Not one complaint. I don't go, well, if 1 or 2 people complain, it's okay. That's unacceptable. That's a broken window. 1 complaint is a broken window. I want 0 complaints. Because by setting that tone to my employees, I know that they're not going to say, well, I can kind of slack off a little bit here. 0 tolerance policy. So I recommend you go through, list all the touch points that you interact with customers, and ask yourself, are we being intentional there? Are we committing and following through on our brand promise? And here's another thing, folks. You know what? If you can't commit to responding to people on Facebook, don't have a Facebook fan page. I would rather not have that there because now it's a liability, right? Now it's got a tail. So everything you do, you've got to think it through. This is going to be another touch point with the marketplace. Are we going to be able to fulfill accurately and on our brand promise through this media? If you're not able to, then don't implement it. It's better to not have it than to do it and disappoint people when they go there and they see it. Okay? It's actually a negative. Then the third piece is each touch point, sit down, be intentional. Make an intentional impression on the client consistently. What happens now? Walk through the process when somebody calls in for support or somebody asks for complains about something. What is happening right now? Then ask yourself, what should be happening right now at a bare minimum? That's probably the industry standard, right? Then ask yourself, what should never happen and should be completely and horribly unacceptable? All right, make sure you identify that, because I'll tell you what, some employees don't know. And if you haven't told them, they're going to be doing things that you're horrified by. Horrified. I had a salesperson one time, there was a client who came up to us in one of the meetings and said, Robin, it wasn't a meeting, it was like a seminar we did, and went to my customer service person. Her title was customer service, and went to her and said, you know what, I want to re-engage with you guys. I want to sign up for my membership. And she said, okay, well, just give us a call on Monday. I about fell on the damn floor. I fired her in the airport when she told me that. That is hard. You know what, though? It was my fault, because I never told her that was unacceptable. Now, it's not unacceptable. Here's the thing. To me, it's not unacceptable from the sales point, although that is hurtful for me, okay? It's unacceptable because that customer, we aren't servicing them. We aren't making it easy for them to do business with us. That was the bigger black mark. Brainstorm specific ways you can truly wow the customer. Then, here's what I'd also recommend. Who's going to be in charge of making sure that this touch point is managed and happens consistently? And how will you know it's happening? All right, think this through, and what's your next action to implement this when you get home? And I would recommend you sit down with your staff and do this, because there might be things they're doing and saying that you have no idea. There might be situations they get in they just don't know how to handle. And you want to make sure that they know how to deal with those situations if and when they arise. So that's about all the time I've got for today, folks. I hope I shared something with you that was of value. Thank you. And I'll leave you with just one final point. Queen Elizabeth once said that if you have to tell somebody or explain to somebody that you're a lady, you probably aren't. Thank you all. Have a great conference. You want me to do Q&A or give you a little time?
Awesome. That was fantastic. I love Robin. She is awesome. Now, if anyone does not implement what we teach here, I'm going to actually personally fly Robin to your home to kick your ass and to break all your windows and just see how long it takes you to clean it up. I love sitting through her presentations too. I mean, I went to her last conference. I only went there like the last day. I spoke at it, but I just sitting there listening to her. I mean, she's just got such, and she's militant, but that's why she does well, because she's willing to pay attention to the things that most people are not willing to pay attention to. And just looking at some of her slides, I remember I saw this at a sign at a storage, in front of a storage business, and it says, you don't build a good reputation by talking about what you're going to do. And I always love that too, because you hear, you do it yourself, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But, like Stephen Covey would say, to know and not to do is not to know. To understand and not to do is not to understand. And so we've had a few people ask us about implementation. How many of you have challenges with implementation? Okay. And it just occurred to me, and I was thinking about this earlier, how many of you know Wyatt Woodsmall? Wyatt Woodsmall, okay, he's the guy that originally trained Tony Robbins, and he's been a big mentor to Eben Pagan and a lot of people. And I've done a lot of stuff with Wyatt. And a few years ago, we actually, maybe 2-3 years ago, how long ago was that, Eunice, do you remember? When we did the implementation seminar? Huh? 3 years ago, okay. We did an entire day seminar, $1,000 a person, one day, on implementation. And the people that were in platinum, we let them attend the thing. People that were not, is $1,000. And so we have this whole recorded event on implementation, just literally how to get yourself to implement and take action. And so I'm going to figure out some clever way to package it into something to extract more money out of all of you, okay? And so I'm thinking about it. Because, do you got any ideas on how we could do that? I mean, we haven't even talked about this.
No, I understand.
Swear to God. I mean, Dean's like, all right, so I'm just...
I like the idea.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
What, the extracting the
I
money
like
or the
idea.
implementation?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, what I was noticing when Robin was talking, how congruent this matches up with your client experience timeline that we talk about in your During unit, where we're talking, all those things that she's talking about are looking at it above the line, looking at it through your, whoever's having that experience, through your client's eyes, going through the entire process. And just, you know, I think that your timeline, if you look at it, is a living and breathing, ongoing thing. You're continually observing it, you're continually adding to it, making sure that below the line, all the systems and all the procedures and all the policies and checklists are in place to make sure that you're delivering that experience. So, you know what I love is how all of the speakers that we've had, all the people who've shared, are just so completely congruent with what we talk about in the 8 Profit Activators. I mean, the whole thing, it's just been great that they can share it and you and I can sit and
Do you know
watch
why that is?
and take notes.
Because Jesus loves you.
He
Dean.
does. He loves
Seriously.
you. Yes, that's
what-
right.
No, everyone here has been, totally fits.
Yeah.
It's just one more reason why this demonstrates how.
Have you guys liked these 10-minute talks too? Having the short things? Is Randy
So,
ready?
so
We got
we
another-
got, I hope so. Is Randy Garn ready?
Where is Randy going?
Okay.
There he is.
Now, wait, hold on. Let me read a little bit about him, little scribble notes here. He's a co-founder and chief relations officer. Oh, let me start over. For people live stream, get ready.
Hello, Namibia.
This guy's a dynamo. Randy Garn, bio. Co-founder and chief relationships officer at Prosper. The company Prosper is 14 years old and running, 85,000 coaching students, 2 million plus customers in 80 different countries. New York Times bestselling author of the book Prosper. Earnest and Young Entrepreneur of the Year, 6 kids, 2 sets of twins. Basically, one hell of a guy. Runs a gigantic $80 million a year company. Come on up. And he's awesome. I need a copy of the book. I need a copy of Prosper. Someone could bring me a copy of the book. How are you, dude?
I'm awesome, Joe. How you doing,
exciting.
Dean?
We're
Okay,
awesome.
buddy.
Okay.
Now, okay.
Do you want us to leave? Do you want to have you ask
No.
questions? Whatever. I mean, look, you've.
Let's get out of his way and let him go. 'Cause we're gonna.
Yeah, I mean, I just want you to just give
impede
these
him.
download to everyone here. We'll put 10 minutes up here.
We'll put 10 minutes up.
Just how to succeed and prosper as an entrepreneur. I mean, you've worked with entrepreneurs, you've coached entrepreneurs, you're one yourself. I mean, that's the business you're in. You've taken already very successful people and even taught them how to be better. You know, how do you do
we
it?
go.
How do you make it happen? And you got this bestseller, New York Times,
So-
Create the Life You Really Want, with Ethan
Prosper,
Willis, who is
and
your
you
partner.
know Ethan too. So I'll just give you a flashback. April 2003. So this guy from Arizona comes in, like all dripping wet, about 110 pounds of him. And he had this. I still remember Joe had this little man purse. It was this little purse. And I was like, who is this guy? And it was awesome. He comes in like he owns the place, puts his feet up on the table, and I mean he is just making it happen. And ever since then, I've been in the 25K club, now 4 years almost?
Something like
ever since
that.
we started it.
Yeah.
From the very beginning. And I can honestly say that this man has changed my life. Can we give Joe a huge round of applause right here? Thank you. Thank you. And I'm being serious. We have taken things that I have learned at his event, our continuity programs, things that we've done. We've learned so much from Joe and from what he's done to help us grow as a business too. And it really is, and Dean and Joe talk about execution and implementation. You can have a great strategy, but if there's no execution to it, it's not going to get you anywhere. You can also run as fast as you can in the wrong way and tire yourself completely out, or really figure out how to do it right. And I've learned as an entrepreneur, it's not, little things don't mean a lot, little things mean everything. And especially when it comes to marketing. So,
yeah.
And I've also, me and Ned Hallers, I don't know if Ned's still here. We had a great
He's here, but I think
he may be freshening up
he
or
might
something. Who
be
knows?
taking Ritalin out in the back or something.
So we were talking in there, and there really is, as far as entrepreneurship, and I think we got how many of you in here are marketers? All right.
Marketing lovers.
How many of you are marketers? How many of you love marketing?
Of course.
All right. So me and Ed were talking, and there was this recent study out that IQ and creativity have zero correlation. So you think about that, is that marketers, we are very, very creative. you know? Our IQs, and the lower your IQ, the actually more creative you are, and that's why Joe is just, he's a genius. Can we give it up for Joe right there, baby? He is the man. And Dean's IQ is really, really, really high, so these two together are like just a bomb.
It just kind of, yeah. It's like Batman and Robin. I mean, it's just
so honestly, it is like Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
so I mean, these guys are truly awesome. But as an entrepreneur, what I've really, really found to be successful is, as we've grown our enterprise and several other companies, is that I'm the creative side. My business partner too is a really amazing marketer. Like we have Ad Cafe as another business we own. It's an advertising agency, and that's what has over 2 million subscribers to it. And we love marketing. But it took us a while to find the right people and the right partners to be able to grow it.
How many employees you got?
Oh, a little over 350 employees is what we have. And it's so fun. It's awesome. But I mean, at the very beginning, like I was doing customer care, like Robin's talking about, and I was doing horrible. I was like, people are yelling at me. I'm like, oh, what's going on? You know, those are the early days. But then you start organizing things really, really well and getting the right people and the right processes. And all of a sudden, your creativity, along with people with good operational skills and with good IQ, help balance that out. And those things meshing together can create some serious profit. And that's why you guys, I mean, Joe, he is amazing. And just the ideas that he thinks about can make billions of dollars and probably have for people. Yeah. And that's why he's got Eunice in the back and all of the people that are helping him, is because Joe's put a team around him to help put on these events and grow these things. But the creative side has got to be and you've got to let that flow. And if you are a creative person, I'd say, man, be careful not to get stuck in the weeds of everything either, because that can stifle your growth as well. Mm-hmm. So you got to be careful not to be like so stuck in the financing and everything else. Find the right people to help you grow your enterprise. And as part of our book, Prosper, Creating the Life You Really Want, we actually teach people about prosperity. And it's money plus happiness plus sustainability equals prosperity. You know, there's a lot of the boom crash cycle that goes up and down. And so you just want to make sure that it stays consistent. So
can I ask you a couple things? Questions? Ethan, who's cool as heck. Yeah. We were at lunch the other day because Ethan just moved to Arizona. And you guys have been partners for how many years?
Oh, business partners, but you know we're business partners. We've been business partners for about 14 years, almost. 15 years.
Let me come back to that one and then ask you. So someone doesn't think you're gay, which is fine if you are. If you like dudes, it's fine. But that being said, what's harder, running a business that has 350 employees, millions of dollars, or being a parent with 6 kids?
Oh my gosh, that's actually a good question. Sometimes I go to work to get away, but sometimes it's amazing. No, being a father and being a dad is probably the biggest blessing of my life. Mm-hmm. And I think being able to do that and balance that is actually another thing. You got to kind of shut things off. And I think part of being successful too is surrounding yourself with the right people. Yeah. Because me and Ethan balance each other off really, really well.
Well, see, that's what I was going to, because I said to Ethan, I go, I'm usually not a big fan of partnerships unless you really like. Usually people want to become partners. It's like some sort of weird codependent way because they want the other person to do something they don't want to do. The other person has that, and then there's like a lot of these challenges. It's really hard to find people that you're in sync with. I mean, me and Dean are in sync in a lot of really good ways. There's a lot of partnerships I don't want anything to do with because you see them bust up. And I said to him, I go, how hard is it to be in a partnership? And he said, the reason me and Randy work so well is that. And he said this, and it's so funny because what you said, that we're not partners. He said, we just love each other so much.
Well, maybe he feels differently about me than I do about him. We'll see. But I don't know.
No, but he goes, we care about each other so much in our relationship that even when just crap hits the fan, that, we still are able to just, figured out, which is cool because there's a tremendous amount of respect. Yeah. And Richard Rossi said 3 things you need in a love relationship, which he could probably. He's like, you got to love each other, you got to respect each other, and you got to get along. He's like, you can love someone and respect them, but not get along. You can get along and respect them, but not love them. And so I thought that was a really interesting thing. But I think there's a lot of there's a lot of similarities to doing business relationships. And you're a total relationship dude. You just know so many people. What are some, just suggestions on people, how well they're going to grow is how well they network, how they go out and who they network with. So what are some examples or suggestions you'd give people to develop good relationships?
Well, on first, I'll hit 2 because there's 2 questions there. 1, how do you have good partnerships? And then 2, how do you develop relationships? As far as the partnership goes, I actually use a formula called P over E. And P over E is really, and then there's E over P. I only partnership with people that their principles are higher than their ego. And if their ego is higher than their principles, you eventually will get screwed. I'm serious. It's happened to me too many times, but all of a sudden when things get tough, if their principles are high enough, they'll honor that contract that they signed. Because how many of you have been in contracts where it's like all of a sudden, whoop, what was on that paper didn't matter anymore. And so Ethan is got his principles are higher than his ego, and those are where there's so that's my P over E ratio. You can use it. Think about it. I never partnership with anybody, and we could have had some huge partnerships that would have crushed it and made us a lot of money. But I know in the long run we probably might have lost money in litigation and things that really make you tired. Really make you tired. And so that's my P over E ratio, both with the partner. And I think there's velocity of relationship. That's my VOR, velocity of relationship. And Joe and Dean do a great job with that, is that even as a marketer, how quickly can you build that relationship of trust? How quickly can you write that copy that's like, man, that is what I want. But there are experiences like you guys coming here and really meeting Joe and Dean. These guys are seriously, they have the P over E factor, not the E over P factor, because these are just 2 good, great guys, and that want the best for all of you as well. And so there's an instant trust and relationship there because you can feel it. And Marie had that as well, and Robin just rocks the house. Can we get up for Robin again? I mean, that was unbelievable. It's amazing, amazing. So I think in a partnership, that if you have that trust and commitment, the E over P relationship, that you can always work through the hard times. I mean, we had been through tough times, really tough times, and still been able to stick it through. As far as getting partnerships and key relationships, is that I always go fly out, meet with the person. If we ever do a partnership, I have them fly into our office and look all of my employees in the eyes before we sign the contract.
Wow.
And I want them to see what we do first and make sure that is there. And there's a lot of money. If we do a partnership, it costs us $50,000 to $100,000 just to kick things off the first time. And we pay for funding all that. So I got to make sure that they're committed too. And so I think it's the same thing when you're working with a partnership or a JV affiliate. Can I trust these guys? Is their P over their E? And, is their commitment as high as my commitment? So those are some things. I live by that. I live by those rules. And then VOR, the velocity of relationship, is really how quickly can I build a really, really strong relationship? I just naturally love people, but you'll also get a sense too. So, but doing cool stuff with them makes all the difference. Like coming to an event, coming to your house. I have some partners that they won't let me stay. I flew out to New York. Brandon Steiner with Steiner Sports is one of our partners, and he wouldn't let me stay anywhere. He's like, "No, you're staying at my house."
Right.
And so there's some neat things that you can do, and I got to meet his family and things. So, anyways, those are some ideas.
Couple more things. You've built a business that requires a tremendous amount of attention. You publicly put yourself out there. You're dealing with lots of stuff. You have dealt with criticisms. All kinds of stuff, because anytime you become as big as you guys are, you become a target. And one of the things that I tell people frequently is that, what's changed over the years is not that crap ever goes away. Some days you just go to war. What happens is your tolerance to it. in how you interpret it and perceive it, because the more you make an impact in the world, the people that don't like what you're doing, a lot of people do not like people that are having success, because it in a lot of criticism, if it's not legitimate criticism, is just self-hatred turned outward, and they attack people that they can't compete with.
And they don't understand why other people can be successful if they're not. And,
Exactly, and it's because of the way they think is exactly the reason why they're where they're at.
Yeah.
So Dean Graziosi, who you've done a lot of work with, he talks about marketing stamina. You got to have stamina. What are your thoughts on just where's the muscle that it takes to become more successful? Because as people become more successful, there's a lot of things that they're going to have to shift about how they think about stuff, how they interpret stuff. So, how do you handle pressure? How do you interpret pressure?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of external pressures when you're running a business. When you've got all the employees to handle, you've got the marketing, marketing shifting all the time, and you have to be innovative and keep up with that. And I think one on the marketing side is because there's a lot of rules and regulations now that there hadn't been in the past. Mm-hmm. So we always say one thing: show the proof, tell the truth, and obey the law. And there is a humongous difference between a marketer and a liar. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of liars out there. Mm-hmm. And so I think you got to, if you do those things, show the proof. Like I loved, was it Ed? He's talking about the different testimonials and video testimonials and things. There's a lot of rules and regulations. So if you're interested, we are part of the ERA. So we joined associations. We started an association of lifelong learning, and we're kind of charging the forefront on marketing and advertising regulations and rules. So we're right in there. Our chief legal officer just got back from Washington, D.C. and from Vegas, meeting with the ERA and with the FTC and all that. And it's fun. Yeah. I mean, if you do it and do it right, but you do have to be a good marketer, and to really do it, you have to write great copy, because there's a lot of bad actors out there. So we try to do that.
Now, we've got this book that is an awesome book, and we're going to do something really cool. We're going to sell it to everyone here. And we want everyone to reach into it. No. You know what? Randy is such an awesome dude that you're all going to get a copy of his amazing book for free. Okay? And so what will someone get out of, and we've only got enough here to hand out a few people, so everyone else, we're going to have emails somewhere and we'll send them to them, or how do they do it? Or give them the electronic version? How do we do it? Because we've got a few here. But,
if you guys, if you wanted to, do you have a good Piranha Marketing email, or Eunice, or you can email me as well? Either way.
What email should we go to? How do we do that?
Alex?
We'll figure it out. Send them all to Alex? I don't think so. He's gonna see broken windows everywhere. He's gonna die.
Awesome.
The best way to encourage your team is to just
tear them down.
That is the best.
No,
way.
I just don't want Alex to be. That's really not. I don't think.
That's right. So just do this. Send it to Randy@prospering.com. All right, Randy@prospering.com. prospering.com. And if you'll send me that, send me your address, your mailing address, and we will get a book out to you right away. So if you guys will do that, then I'll be happy to assist you. If you go to prosperbook.com too, there's an amazing assessment that will help you kind of fill out a prosperity profile. Where am I at currently? And I've actually talked to several of you. Where am I at right now with my money, my happiness, and my sustainability in my life and my business? And there's some pretty cool formulas there. You'll get a 15-page report on that. So
awesome.
So just shoot it off to me.
Thank you so much. You're awesome, dude.
Okay.
Big style.
Love it.
Big style.
That's great.
All right, and guys, I love marketing. It's what makes the world go round.
Absolutely, it is. What else would there be?
Exactly.
So, just introducing you to more cool people. All right, awesome. Now, Dean, this is the most pressure-filled moment of the week.
There are 11 hearts racing.
Here's
right now.
Because several of the finalists have asked me, if you do the Necker trip, is it one person or is it two? And it's one. But there's couples, and there's and so here's the deal. When we do, if you want the trip to Necker, here's what I'm going to do. When we do the trips, they're $40,000 a person or $75,000 for a couple, and other than airfare, everything is included. If it's just whoever wins, if it's just one person, we'll not only give you the trip to Necker, which includes everything. I mean, you stay on the island, you eat and drink all you want, you go on, boats and any sort of activities you want. You can, kill turtles. I mean, whatever you want to do there.
No, you can't
kill
the turtles.
No.
You're not allowed.
He has pink.
No killing the
turtles. And I'll tell you, like Richard loves the pink flamingos that are there in his staff, but Richard likes to do jokes on everyone. And so one day there was a chicken that died on the island and they literally spray painted it pink and laid it out like it was a flamingo that had gotten run over, so that Richard, when he came by, he freaked out. And they just thought it was so funny because they got Richard because he's like that.
Man.
But no, so you can't kill anything on the island. But here's what I'll do. If it's 2 people, I'll do 2 people. You just pay for your flight and get there. Everything else is covered. Okay, so 2 people, $75,000. All right, so Tim, can you come up and let's, I guess, bring all the finalists back up on stage, right? If all the finalists could come back up on stage, please. And let's not try to break this thing. I don't know what the weight. I don't know what the weight limit is.
Maybe we should stand on the side.
Come on, everyone. Now, I'll wait for everyone gets up here.
Okay. It's all very exciting.
Oh, my goodness.
Here she comes.
All right.
Miss America.
Tick, tick, tick. Tick, tick.
Wow, wow, wow.
All right, since everyone was speaking, Tim and several other people have tallied up all the results, my team. So we've looked at the results online, people that voted for the essays, online, offline, that voted here. Okay, so a lot of you voted not only for the speeches, but also their essays. The contest packets, the content of the contest packets, which the one things that you all didn't see and factor into it was systemizing the marketing and advertising, increasing gross or net profits of the company, how well they actually grew, all that sort of stuff, everything that's been put into it. So there's many factors that are put into this, and there's at least 10 people that have gone through all of the contest packets as judges and individually voted on what they liked of the contest packets, okay? So all of those things were factored in. So Tim has been compiling all of this and putting it all together and with several people coming up with a list. And so I went out into the hall just a few minutes ago, right towards the end of Robin's presentation, and he kind of gave me the ones that were sort of in the running and factoring in and kind of where it's at, and I'm like, okay. And so then he went back and they would ultimately decide with someone else, because I don't want to be the one that makes the ultimate decision on this stuff. And I said, okay. So he brings kind of, and that's how we do this thing. So I'm not sure who's going to be the grand prize winner or the runner-up. I have an idea, but I'm not sure exactly who it's going to be. So have you chosen?
Yes.
And do I announce the runner-up first, or do I announce the winner?
Runner-up first.
Okay.
Yeah, that's always.
And what does the runner-up get?
A cruise or a trip valued up to $3,000.
Okay.
Or it could be a deposit towards a Necker Island, however you want to put that.
Okay.
This opens this way. Okay, so this is runner-up.
This is the runner-up.
Keep it close to your chest.
Okay, and before
we need some music.
Before whatever happens, this is a really intense. I mean, they're literally. There's a lot of adrenaline going through their brain.
I can feel it right.
And I just, you're all awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, you're my heroes. Seriously, This is what makes doing what I do one of the coolest jobs in the world, because you get to see how people's lives change and how they take ideas and they build something with it. And so, thank you, okay? Damn it, all right.
You want music, a drum roll?
Yeah,
what do you want?
A drum roll, whatever.
Okay.
Okay, well, as you know, I can get the first name right, but the last name hard. Kathleen Lagrassi. Okay, you're right on. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
That's awesome.
Congratulations. All righty.
This one has a rubber
No,
band
this
around
one-
it.
yeah.
Because it's really private.
I'll shield you.
Okay.
As we'll look together. Oh, no, that's upside down. Oh. Aha.
All right, the winner of either the Land Rover or the trip to Necker Island.
For two.
For two. Susan and Steve Lobsinger.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Now
Wow.
the decisions.
Speech.
The decision. Do we need the decision?
I don't know. Okay, what are we going to take? I think it's kind of a no-brainer for us. We want the used car. Just kidding. No, that's not what we're going to go on the trip.
Yeah, you guys cover your flight. I'll pay for everything else.
Absolutely,
I got.
absolutely.
That's it.
You know what? Win or not win this contest, being a part of Joe's evil web of, marketing and all this sort of stuff. I've always called it that, but it's actually great because it's made us up our game and just really opened up. I'm really just kind of overwhelmed right now. I don't know what to say.
Do you know what? Now she's going to let him talk.
Now I actually have laryngitis, so I can't talk very much. But I think what she was trying to say and kind of how I feel about this whole thing is, I'll give you a little my background. Some of you know who I am. Most of you don't. All of you, I love marketing and great people. But I'm an engineer by training, and that's basically who I've been for the last 15 years. And when I say who I've been, that's what I mean. That's who I've been. That's what I've been from top to bottom. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm proud of my achievements. But there's a saying that engineers have about ourselves that you'll always be comfortable as an engineer, but you'll never be rich. And so what Piranha Marketing has done for me is to help me break out of that mindset of corporate life, really, and being an engineer. So Piranha Marketing and Platinum 2.0 has been basically a bridge from engineer to entrepreneur. I don't have ADD, but I'm learning. So anyway, thank you all.
Awesome. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to say? Anyone back there that has anything you'd like to? No. Can you hold this, Dean?
I'll hold this.
Just hold that.
I'll hold this.
I'm sitting there racking my brain because I always wish I could give everyone. I say this jokingly. It's like I wish I could give everyone a car, but economically that just wouldn't work. And
you make it up.
Yeah, I'm not Oprah. I'm not getting cars sponsored.
You get a car. You get a car.
Yeah. They don't realize the car company gave her all the cars to give away. And but basically, I'm going to do something for everyone here. I'm not sure what it's going to look like or how, that will be more valuable than the Land Rover, and it will be something, and even if it's in the form of education or training or something that will allow you to just literally even add to the already incredible capabilities, because I want the effort that you all put into this to come back to you tenfold, and I just really, really appreciate the work and the effort and everything, and you guys especially. I mean, just even what you went through this week, I mean, just that you're here, it's awesome. So thank you all so much. Thank you. And, group picture.
There we go.
Let's all make this look. We'll get in the way. So can everyone be seen? You want to come up here? All right.
There you go.
Okay, we're hiding people. Okay.
Come on up.
And if you're short, come in the front. Whatever. Len, if you could get over here. Just kidding. Okay. She's going to kick me, I swear.
Okay. All right, so everybody's eyes are open at the same time. You're going to have you close your eyes on the count of 3, open them.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3, open.
All right.
That's perfect. That's a great
All right,
idea.
thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Wow. Wow.
Awesome.
So, what a day. What a day. Whew.
That's it. There we go.
So we have a new contest with the Land Rover. Just kidding. All right.
Slightly used.
Okay. Oh my God.
That was
all
pretty
right.
funny. I wonder if we swayed them with the memories.
No, you know, I mean, no, the car is incredibly cool. And what I always liked about the car is that when someone gets in it, then every day they're reminded about me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now you just went and bought the Fisker,
no, there's a
thinking you were gonna
stench
get
that
rid of your
exists in
car.
that car that just doesn't go away. I mean, it's sort of, no. It is cool though. When you give someone a car, it literally, well, I know what it's like because Bill Phillips gave me a Jaguar convertible because I helped him make millions of dollars. And I remember getting that car as a prize and just, you know, there's something significant about giving people prizes because it awards accomplishment, it awards effort and stuff. And it is bittersweet too, like Tim says, because you know you have all these incredible people that just put a lot. And you know you can't give everyone a gold medal, you know, and so it's a tough sort of thing. However, I think we've worked out some of the best ways to reward finalists and stuff because we always do stuff. So over the next couple of days, I'm going to figure out something for everybody so that everyone here is totally stoked and you know the fact that they did that. Now the lesson here though is everything measured improves, everything measured and reported improves exponentially. So a lot of the people that entered and completed the contest now have a blueprint, a documentation of their ads, their strategies, their promotions, their numbers, and I'd like everyone to use that as something to continue to build on because when you put in an intense period, you know, you create great results. So if you can create that sort of pressure on yourself on a regular basis, that's how you'll jump to different levels because it just is the best way to go. So there's a lot of stuff we still have to cover with
I know.
Now what's
we're
cool,
going to have a big day tomorrow. It's going to be.
And we're going to have some, so how would you like to wrap up today with, you just want to end?
I think this was a good finale for the day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Anything
Let's
else?
why don't, you know what we could do? We could have a reception.
Yes.
That would be the perfect way to end the day.
So there's going to be a reception out there, you know.
Yeah.
And it starts at 6:30 and it'll go till 8:30. I'm only going to be there for a few minutes because I have a lot of logistic things I want to do. But before we do that, I'd like to bring up my team that has been working morning, noon, and night to put this shit on, okay? And the camera crew probably can't leave their stations.
Yeah.
But Austin, Jason, everyone that's back there that can come up here, Eunice, Tim Paulson, I mean, honestly, give it up for Tim Paulson. And Rochelle and Casey, all you guys, if you can come up here, come on up here real quick. Real quick. If there's anything you need, any questions you have, these are the people behind the scenes that do. What are you guys doing? Get up here. Come on.
You think we got all night? We got a reception to get to. There we go.
Come on. Now this is Casey Jones, who actually, who actually has his own design company now. So what is the website? How do people? If you want anyone to do, you know, as an example, a lot of the stuff you see online. You saw Ned Hollowell's Entrepreneurial Mind, so all this stuff. He's done Paul Abdul's website or Twitter page, a lot of stuff. Look at that.
Look at that.
That's some of Casey's work. And he is a gun for hire if you would like to have incredibly cool stuff. How do people get a hold of you?
ArtIgniteDesign.com.
ArtIgniteDesign.com. This is Gina, who's been with me for 9 years, the Director of Online Services. Okay? This is Victoria. How long have you been with me? Like 4 years. 4 fabulous, fun-filled years. Rochelle, how many years? 6 years. What's your title at Piranha?
Director of Innovative Solutions and Awesomeness.
Director of
Awesomeness, that's it.
Yes, and Alex, how long have you been? Not too long.
9 months.
9 months, okay. We got Kenny, brand new. How long have you been with us, Kenny? Like 2 weeks or something?
Yeah, 1 week.
1 week. What do you think of that? And Dan is not here right now because he's sick, but he'll be here tomorrow. So he's sort of kind of does like CEO stuff, but we don't give high-level stuff titles because we think titles equal entitlement. So, you never really know. So what do you do?
Oh, I do web design, web development.
Yep. And so if you see our web design and getting much more cooler, it's Kenny's. He'll be doing some badass stuff. And so if it sucks, let us know. Okay.
Oh, I'm 19.
19. Yep.
Perfect.
You designed your first video game when?
Give me a mic. Okay. Wait. First video game.
It wasn't a video game. It was basically there's a game called Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
And with that game, you could modify it to pretty much do whatever you want with it.
Right.
So I played a lot of Halo back then, if you guys know Halo, and what I did was I took some of the elements in Halo,
yep,
and I pretty much put it in Counter-Strike. So I did that in I did that in 9th grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I started web development in 7th grade. So yeah, it's been like 7 years.
That's awesome. Great. That's awesome. And thank you. And we got Rakeem, who's brand new, and you love speaking, right? Rakeem actually, video, photography, awesome, and so you're going to start seeing some really killer video stuff that Rakeem's putting together, editing, puts it all together. So you're going to see some really innovative, badass stuff being pumped out too. So, and of course, my office angel, Miss Eunice Miller, who's been with me for 17 years. She hates to publicly speak, so say something. No. Come on. Anything. What's the best and worst thing about working with me? No, I don't want to answer. You don't want to answer that? So anyway, because this conference runs very well, it's because these people are working really hard. And there's other people in the back that haven't come out here. So for the people up front and the back, please give them all a hand. And thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Love it. Awesome. And my darling girlfriend, Renee, who I love very much and who's incredible and awesome, keeps me in line, so she deserves a bigger applause than you could even imagine.
Oh, boy.
So,
there we go.
All right, so have a great evening. Meet someone. If you're introverted, you don't know what to say to someone, just ask them if they could be a superhero, what superhero would they be? And if they could have any superpower whatsoever, what would their superpower be? And if you just say that shit to several people, you'll talk all night.
There you go. And wave good night to Namibia on your way out.
Yes, and thank you online. And we will see you all bright and early at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Be ready. It is going to be an awesome day. Thank you.